Make sure everybody's good. Alright, dude. Oh, what did you think of this chapter?
Yo, man. So first of all, this is
Oh, wait.
howdy y'all.
Hold on. Let me turn this.
It's another Maharaj chapter, but obviously with a special guest, my homie, the man himself, the man who got me this book. Please introduce yourself.
Alex Taylor. Um, my channel is Alanizam, AYAZYAM.
Yeah, we'll have that in the description for you guys. Yeah, like I said, he's the guy who got me the book, and I've been trying to get him on here for a second, just for fun, and so finally got him on a random chapter. So, and what a chapter to get him on because, woo boy, this is a fun one because he once again does one of those patronizing but kind of true things into Westerners that are both, uh, rude but also true. You know what I mean? Like when he's talking about, what was he exactly was
I didn't
talking about?
get if the guy was actually Western. If he was, I think he was Western. He was commenting on like the young
Yeah,
Westerners
yeah.
and everything Maharaj said. He was like, "No, but you don't get it. Like they have no faith. They have nothing. They can't understand any of these concepts like universal mind and
I mean, he's
consciousness and
not completely wrong. I mean, a lot of it, he's being patronizing. I mean, talking about the worst aspects of it, but there is definitely, that's why, like, I don't know. I guess a personal bias when I'm like, yeah, you tell him. That's kind of like a personal bias thing for sure. I'll admit that. But, like, it's kind of true, man. Like, we don't, because, I mean, the Abrahamic faiths don't, like, is a very much more separation between, like, the divine and everything else.
and Maharaj just points out like he goes right to the universal and he's like, give them direct experience with the saint, give them a genuine experience of love and care and concern and they will come around and whatnot. And Maharaj is always pointing to the universal and like not drawing the lines in the sand between West and East. And I remember there's a part in the book where he talks about not making any distinctions between the East and West. I remember feeling very like moved. I was like very inspired by
Yeah,
that.
I think that was a few chapters or so. No, at least maybe like I don't remember exactly what chapter it was, but I think I remember him talking. I mean, he does both though. He's done both. He's made like he's there's. I think it depends on the questioner, and like with this guy, I think because yeah, you're right because he is like like he was like a young Westerner guy. It is. I like I say, I always find it. I've always find it funny how he takes the different approaches with depending on the questioner. Because
Yeah,
we have like this one, like you say, being a young Western guy. Um, like
I
it's
get the sense that he was middle aged and he was like kind of commenting on people that were in their 20s,
yeah,
and
you're right. You're right. I think you're right. Yeah, you're right. He's
that's kind
kind
of the
of
vibe I got. But maybe he was. I don't know.
maybe
It's hard
who
to tell.
right. It's hard to tell. But yeah, definitely you're right though. Like, because like it's funny to see in the beginning how he even talks about
Did we mention what the chapters we
yeah,
were talking?
yeah. Experience is not the real thing.
Okay.
In chapter 67. Yeah, I think we
All
did. I think with uh, I will see also with Maharaj, like I just like I find it funny at the beginning, like he was going into yet consciousness, individual, universal, all this stuff. It's a true abode. I am not in it. It's not mine because it's this bigger thing, and like I feel like the questioner just right off the bat, like so much of that flew over his head.
right. Yeah.
I find that happens. Do you find that? Wouldn't you agree that happens like so much? Not all the time. It's not because some of them are really smart. Some of them, and they like really will get into the thick and weeds of it with him.
I
Some,
think they're looking for. It seemed like this guy. People are looking for an excuse why they can't basically look within and look at themselves. And this guy is kind of projecting onto the young people and saying, "Well, they're the ones like,"
yeah.
and sort of like talk as if, but he's really talking about himself as well. I think to an extent, like his own limitations and it just seems like people make excuses for like,
especially, especially when he's like, because part of it is like, yeah, especially when he was like, "Sir, I am a humble seeker." while you are the supreme reality itself.
Yeah, I
Now the
know.
seeker approaches the supreme in order to be enlightened. What does the supreme do? Like half the time, I feel like they're being very sarcastic when they say stuff like this.
It does start to sound sarcastic. I
I
know,
feel
right?
like, and it's hard
Like,
to
oh,
like
you're
with
the
text.
supreme reality itself. Like,
Yeah,
because it,
but the way he responds to it, it's like, Maharaj, listen to what I keep on telling you, and do not move away from it. You think of it all the time and nothing else. Having reached that far, abandon all thoughts, not only of the world, but of yourself also. Stay beyond all thoughts. In silent being awareness, it is not progress for what you come to, it is already there in you, waiting for you. So like I feel like the way like you just like he's just yeah like they may be sarcastic, but he just like, slaps him with just some wisdom like that, you
yeah,
know?
just like listen to what I've been trying to tell you.
Like he sasses him back. I remember you telling me very early on about how um like how he was like a very sassy dude, and I
Oh yeah,
understand what you mean,
he has
especially
an
in moments
attitude.
like that. You know what I
He
mean?
was so apparently like very animated. If you ever see like footage of him too, he was like just like he was just like a character.
Which is funny because I noticed in myself in these videos and stuff, I'll be very animated and do stuff too. So that's funny. I guess maybe that's his energy of that all.
Yeah, but you'll notice too in this chapter, like he does. It's a theme throughout the book that he does point out, like yeah, you do kind of have to be like kind of obsessed
Yeah,
with reaching this goal to get there. Like you can get there. It's just like what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, basically like difficult, like
yeah,
but you can get there. It's really hard, but like you guess you can get there, and like uh, but you'll notice he'll say things like you have to basically go to the extreme. You have to push yourself to like think of this stuff like kind of constantly and meditate all the time and like just become obsessed basically with enlightenment, and then you'll get enlightenment. You know,
yeah,
it's a
no,
theme.
yeah,
It comes up in many different ways, but
yeah,
like he doesn't sugarcoat it necessarily like somebody else would like. Enlightenment is just the most beautiful thing. Is like no, it's like no. You kind of have to like work at it. You have to
yeah,
work at it and kind of be like put it first, and then you have to kind of go be even beyond that, and go beyond that,
right.
and go beyond the mind, and go beyond like your own concept of yourself.
Well, like for example, like because the difference between like him, I think like Nisargadatta Maharaj and like Sadhguru, for example, the Sadhguru. I mean, both of these guys are for like kind of the everyday man, but like the Nisargadatta's was that is especially for the much more, I guess, for less what we might call today the less PC, but or just more blunt, more to the point sort of folks, as opposed to Sadhguru is just kind of more for like much more polite society. Like he could still have his moment. Every guru will still have their whoa moments and whatnot, but like they'll still have their shock moments. But they don't do shock for just just to be shocking. They do it for a specific reason. And this Maharaj in here, I feel like I forget what point he. I don't remember he talks about particularly in this chapter, but I know numerous times he talks about how with the guru, like he is like the universal. Use and the way to a way to enlightenment is to go is through the guru. You have faith in the guru. I know
Yeah,
he doesn't talk about particularly in this chapter, but in other chapters he talks about how it's his own guru. That's what he did.
and he pretty much says like, just do whatever the guru tells you,
Yeah,
like literally. And I was like, can you say that? Are you allowed to like?
but it's
It's
with
just
that
like such a
understanding. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, but with that understanding that the guru really is within, and
yeah, yeah. He's in
all you're
this
doing is
nexus.
obeying. All you're doing
Yeah,
is obeying your own inner self.
yeah. It's just he's the manifest state like this. Or
And you'll
he.
notice too, he'll say things like, you have to be able
Oh wow.
to follow the guru in good times and bad times. To say things like, well, some people will just abandon
Oh,
following. They won't follow the guru if like they do something the guru says and like, oh, everything doesn't work out exactly how they thought.
right.
So they're like, oh, screw this. It didn't. It wasn't like all rainbows and miracles. It's like, well, maybe that was one stage that they had to bring you down in order to build you up later or something. But the guru is always right because the guru is really you.
Exactly.
You're always going to be the one who's right about yourself.
Because that's the other path he suggests too. Either you follow the guru or you go you go inward and you follow the inner guru.
But he says too, like the outer guru is really just there to give you confidence
Exactly.
when you don't have it right at the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you think, oh, there's this amazingly enlightened person. Like, let me like obviously following this guy is going to be a good idea. So like that gives you the confidence to like do a couple things and do a couple of mantras and meditate a little bit, and it gets you on the path.
Because even the questioner here talks about, for example, some gurus in sheer desperation abandon all discipline, prescribe no condition, advise effortlessness, naturalness, simply living in passive awareness without any pattern of must and must not. And there are many disciplines whose past experiences brought them to dislike themselves so badly that they just do not want to look at themselves. If they are not disguised, they are bored. They have surfeit of self knowledge. They want something else.
I don't know that word surfeit. Surfeit,
I I think it means like they,
like surface knowledge.
yeah, I think so.
I don't know what it means,
I
but
don't have my phone on me to double check that, but something like that. But Maharaj, I just like, I do like, because he says exactly what you were earlier, where you're like, I don't know how, because he's like, let them not think of themselves. If they not like it, let them stay with a guru, watch him, think of him. Soon the, they will experience a kind of bliss, quite new, never experienced before, except maybe in childhood.
yeah.
Like he's saying,
He's like, yeah, there is a way to get direct experience. I can give them an experience that will have an impression on them. All you have to do is like have them in the company of like a saint, yeah, like a holy person,
right?
and
Oh wow.
and they'll have like this experience to be like, oh yeah, I remember in childhood when I used to feel this way when like whenever my grandma would like rock me in the whatever in her arms or something, like I don't know, like
Yeah,
it reminds me of like that peace, that deep peace of like being a child. And
right before you had all these experiences to cloud everything,
yeah,
because he's talked about that, I think, in the last chapter or so. He talked about that being a thing, so that's why it's funny with this chapter with this name. It's like this is the kind of in the theme, because I've noticed like there will be kind of like the chapters will have like will have certain themes, like the next to each other,
yeah.
and then over time it kind of changes a little bit, but it's still within like the general theme. So
There's definitely some themes that run through. Like
yeah,
Stephen Walensky has done a good job of like kind of chronicling like all the themes in his books, like the theme of the I am, whatever, the theme of the sadhana,
yeah,
however you pronounce that word. I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but
close enough for the sake of the video. It's okay. You're not. Yeah. No. It's yeah. But anyways.
whatever the theme is, yeah. Like, and with Maharaj, it's always gonna be like, yeah, he's gonna be telling you, um, start off with simplifying your life, make it simple, make it manageable, and then use your time. You're no longer running around and just doing a bunch of crazy shit, like get your life in order and then meditate, meditate on the I am.
Exactly.
The I am is the highest God, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So meditate on the I
Because he
am.
talked about that thing. I forget at which point, but like like that's the thing, like going beyond experience itself, and that's why he says like that's the whole point of this chapter's
Yeah,
name is that experience is not the real thing. It's this thing that's beyond like that.
experience and now no
Yes,
experience. It's like consciousness and no consciousness. Some, unconsciousness and consciousness. It's because
transcends all of it. The awareness,
it's
all of it.
the fourth dimension, which is time,
Yeah,
and it's an experience that direct of the self, and the self, who we really are, is beyond space time. It's beyond
exactly.
the third dimension.
If,
It's beyond,
yeah,
yeah. So like all this duality is in the mind. Oh, the mind is awake, the mind is asleep, the mind knows what's going on, the mind doesn't know what's going on, the mind is confused. It's like
yep.
it's just all these dualities, and then he's saying like step back, and like the real is beyond those dualities. which is I don't know, it rings true in a lot of like Zen Buddhism and stuff, and a lot of Buddhism, and it's sort of all like very similar
Yeah,
message.
that's why for me personally, my personal those sadhanas and whatnot, sadhanas. Yeah, you don't pronounce the H that much. You're supposed to say it's supposed to be like sadhana. I think.
Sadhana,
Yeah, you don't really pronounce the H because I think that's why I was mispronouncing it before. I was like using the heavy H on there.
sadhana.
Yeah,
Yeah, the H is just kind of like a little.
it's just like yeah, it's just because the
It's sort of like what you're.
sometimes because the H is there to have like it's a very soft H. And
Yeah,
so for some words you kind of say it, but at least according to my friend, my friend Ty, he said like you don't use like you don't.
Sedana. Like
Yeah,
who say Sedana? He really
yeah.
names like my.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do my Sedana.
uh, so I mean, I guess with that all being said, do you have anything more do you want to add?
No, I mean it's always interesting. I don't know how many times it happens in the book, but when people do bring up that difference between the West and the East, and mine,
I remember at
and
least
it's interesting to hear your perspective that you think there's some truth to it because, like, for me,
it was
it,
always over exaggeratory
yeah,
and
for me it
like
was like,
yeah
well, I personally, I don't know if it's like just because I don't have the background in like Western religion that you have,
yeah
like, but I just personally didn't have any problem with like just intuitively knowing what he was talking about, like with the supreme being beyond and the supreme state, and you are the supreme. You know, you're ultimately beyond all. You're the ultimate reality, basically.
because you're much
Like you
more yeah
transcend like even
yeah
time
yeah
itself. Like you're beyond time, so like
you're like that child
you're not
man.
even time bound.
You're
You're
like
just like
yeah you're like that child. You were just beyond. You're a blank canvas, so you didn't have all that uh wiring. But no, he I think he makes like I think it's overgeneralized in some ways, but like it's a bit of an oversimplification. But it's for the sake of the conversation. I think generally when he makes those points, it's for a valid reason. I generally, like I say, I don't think. I mean, the only times there might be times where I'm just like, man, I'm not sure what he means, but I don't think I've ever had a time where I'm like, I think he's wrong. I just only maybe have times where I don't know what he means.
yeah. There was like one sentence in there that I wasn't quite sure what he was talking about, but yeah. I mean, even me having read it like however many times, and like it's just like there's so much that he was trying to say that he was just so smart. Like he really, even though he wasn't well educated, like he just said, like that sharpness, even into his like 80s, even like just really old, like
Incredible. It's incredible.
even as he was dying of cancer from smoking, like
No,
constantly, pretty much his whole life, like just constantly smoking, finally killed him. Like
uh,
yeah, that's what it does, But
but I never destroyed him.
no, I mean, there was a lot of pain though. Like his body was in a lot of pain. But he would say things like, well, that's all happening on the conscious level. It just like reminding everybody, like, it's painful, but like, I'm pretty aware that that's not me at this point. Like, that's just
Right.
the body. So, like, it's not going to be as bad for me as it would be for, like, and ultimately, it's very temporary, like, once he died, it was like a complete release into, like, you know, bliss. So,
You know,
kind of like worth waiting for, I guess. But still, dude, yeah, smoking is bad.
it is.
Smoking is bad, everybody.
Boys and girls
Even
smoking.
Maharaj, even though Maharaj like pretty much like I've heard that he would like blow smoke into like the fans like because it was so hot they had
Yeah.
fans on all the time. He'd like blow smoke into the fans so that the smoke would get on like over across everybody basically just to be like obnoxious.
Yeah. Be silly. That's a
Yeah,
lot of times the gurus are just silly that way.
yeah. Because they're just like,
Yeah.
look, it doesn't matter because we're all gonna die anyway. So
Just introduce that. Yeah. Well, anyways, well, hope you all enjoyed the puppy dogs as well. Hope you all didn't mind them. I figure with my channel the way it is, if the only other thing I do other than this is dogs. So, anyways, I mean, I don't really have much more to add. Do
no, I
you?
think we did it justice.
I think we did. I think we did this justice. So I hope y'all. I mean, on that note, I hope y'all enjoyed our special guest, and if y'all want him back, please let me know. I know, especially by the time this book is, I'm done with all the chapters. I want to have him and Ty and whoever else, and maybe have like a bigger like discussion about the book and bigger and this I am Nisargadatta Maharaj, just the concepts within the book, and just bigger conversations about Hinduism, whatever, just like more broad. So um, hopefully y'all, like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed this. This was fun. I should say, um, Hare Krishna, and peace. Peace. Hope y'all have a good one.
Oh shit, dude! It wasn't recording.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. What if I said